Welcome to Bike Life Radio from KWNK 97.7 FM from the Reno Bike Project, NevadaBike.org, and BikeWashoe.org. We ride our bikes out into the world with a recorder and talk to people about their bikes and their lives. I'm Kai Plaskan. Right on. Have you heard of the Connected Communities Project? Well, it's by the Sierra Buttes Trail Stewardship. It's hundreds of miles of single-track dirt trails that connect Reno to more than a dozen communities in the Sierra. One of them is Quincy, California. That town is turning out to be the hub of the network. Full disclosure, a couple of years ago, I saw that the mountain bike adventure tour business, Yuba Expeditions, moved to Quincy from Downeyville, California, to build this network. So I knew that bikes would be a big part of Quincy's future. I decided to buy property there as a result. Now, yes, I'm an example of new investments coming into the formerly struggling area as a result of this new bike network. But it's not just investors like me. It's reviving the residents of the community as well. Representatives of Yuba Expeditions say kids who once couldn't wait to leave town are now seeing all the extreme mountain bike activity happening in their town. And as a result, kids' mountain bike teams are popping up, and kids are enjoying their outdoors in a new, healthy way. In just the few years that I've been there, I've already seen big changes as a result of the new investment. For years, at a busy intersection, a gas station sat empty, for example. Now that abandoned gas station has been converted into what I like to call a bike station, a brewery and bar that offers bike tours and a lot of other sports. It's called Rich Bar. Alex Westerberg is the owner. Later, we're going to talk to the Rich Bar manager, too. We start with Alex. Here he is. You're listening to Bike Life Radio, KWNK 97.7 FM. I'm Kai Plaskan. Right on. And we're talking to Alex, who is the owner of Rich Bar, right?
Yeah, Rich Bar in Quincy, California.
You're looking through, I see the Ramones, the Clash. You're looking through vinyl right now. Why?
Every Sunday, spin records from 5 until people tell us to stop.
Who are those people?
Neighbors. Mostly the neighbors.
They like walk over here and they're like, can you stop or what?
Yeah, pretty much. Some mean comments on Instagram, that kind of stuff. We listen.
Social media is popular here in town for communication with lots of people about things that people want to complain about, huh?
Being in a small town, I think it's really easy for people to jump onto social media and just kind of share their thoughts and feelings behind a wall.
So you're on Bike Life Radio, Rich, and you were talking to Greg Williams, who is the executive director of the Sierra Buttes Trail Stewardship, right? And that's who you were talking to recently?
Yeah, Greg pops in here every once in a while. We support SBTS however we can. Mountain biking in this community, especially the connected communities, is super important to us and most of the folks I know here. The idea of creating more and more positive spaces for biking is really a great thing.
Yeah. And so this is a positive space for biking at the Rich Bar.
Absolutely, 100%. We're trying to encourage as many people to come into the area and experience biking as we can.
He's got to change vinyl records, move them around.
Yeah, sorry, real quick there.
You're taking it really serious. We have two audience members right now.
Yeah, I mean, 2 or 100, it's the same thing, right? It's usually between 2 and 10, but still give it my all.
Nice. So why is this a positive space, or how is it a positive space for bikers? Describe your conversation with Greg about that, I guess.
Yeah, so my conversation wasn't so much with Greg, because Greg could educate me and tell me for hours and hours. I grew up in Oregon, in the flatlands of the Willamette Valley, and it was a lot of road biking, and mountain biking wasn't really accessible. And so when I moved to California, I lived in the Bay Area for a bit, and getting to experience mountain biking in the Bay Area was really incredible. But in the Bay Area, you're really limited to what you can and can't do based on the populace and the amount of traffic and just everything going on down there. So living here, there's so much wide open space. There's so much land that's been taken care of and is being taken care of and intended for use recreationally, that it's really cool to be a part of the growth of that industry and the way that those trail systems get built out in a really positive way for nature and for the communities that live within and around them.
So as a business owner, how do you support that?
How do I support that?
Well, you're allowing
in a number of ways.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah. So I mean,
all the ways.
Yeah, no, not all the ways. I mean, if we can help raise money, if we can help raise awareness, if we can help educate, if we can help show folks what's going on by hosting a presentation or anything like that, to take away the idea that there's being damage done to the land, but instead we're actually cleaning things up. Trails are being created, opportunities are being created for folks to get jobs, for people to come in and put money into local economies. It's all a very positive thing, especially in a town like Quincy.
Interesting. So let's talk about, I guess, really briefly as a transition point here. You've got the shuttle here, right? Yeah, so you're offering shuttles out of Rich Bar, mountain biking shuttles.
Yeah, so it's not me personally that's doing it or my business.
You allow them to park here.
Yeah, allow them to park here because we really want to encourage as many folks that come through town to see that there's opportunities to get out there and get on a bike. And if we have a van parked out front of Rich Bar and it's got a sign on it, hopefully people get interested and want to check out what Mount Huff has to look like, Mills Peak, Downeyville, any of that. It's all kind of intertwined into the folks and the community here. So we really want to just be stewards of showing people and helping to educate and create awareness of like what biking is and can be. And by having a bike here at Rich Bar, I hope that, a family with a couple of kids that have never seen a mountain bike before get interested, they come and check it out, and the kid goes out and falls in love with mountain biking, because I wish that would have happened to me when I was 10, 11, 12 years old.
That's what happened to my daughter. Okay. I brought her out here to Mount Huff, like as her first mountain bike ride. I brought both my daughters out. One of them crashed like in the ash from the fire and like hit a tree and was just completely covered in ash, and was like, I think she had a second crash and then was like, I'm never mountain biking again. And the other one, the 12-year-old, she did the exact same crash. And go ahead. He's changing vinyl again, so I'll tell the story while he's doing that. She crashed into a stump too and just decided it was the best thing ever, and has not stopped mountain biking and really taken it to the next level. You're listening to Bike Life Radio, KWNK 97.7 FM. I'm Kai Plaskan. Right on.
Yeah.
We're back with Alex, owner of Rich Bar in Quincy, California. Now, one of the things that's really struck me, and the reason why I came out to talk to you about your new bar here in town, is that you were an old gas station. And gas stations notoriously have like leaks of gas and things like that, and it can be really hard to convert them, or at least that's what I thought. But I've heard that it wasn't so hard, that it was not so hard to change it.
No, not at all. We got really lucky in this space, actually. They pulled the tanks out in the mid-90s. So we've had a lot of time to go through remediation on all of this to get it to the point where we can rehab the space.
Yeah.
Make it something different.
Do you have any thoughts about taking an old gas station that was for cars and turning it into something that's like alternative sports, like cycling, or it seems somewhat ironic to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole point of evolution, right? Is you take something that was old, or something is old, and it changes and it grows and turns into something different. And what we've done is we saw something here in the community that needed change. It needed to evolve. It needed to be something different. And so we've taken this space and put our hearts into it and come up with something for the community that welcomes everyone, bikers, electric vehicles, like you name it, and it's welcome here at Rich Bar.
So tell us how you got involved. Like, did you drive through Quincy and were like, I want to buy that place, or what? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I have been trying to open up a brewery, tap room, bar, restaurant concept for, over a decade now down in the Bay Area. And when we moved up here to Quincy, my wife and I were looking at a whole bunch of different spots, and we got connected with some really good people, and we found this spot and got really excited about the potential based on the square footage and the outdoor space and kind of it being a central hub in town for what we might be able to offer, the whole community.
Yeah. So I know that there's a lot of abandoned buildings throughout the United States, and you seem to be somewhat successful here. Are you feeling successful?
Yeah, every day. I mean, I feel beyond successful. I feel so blessed. I wake up every day and I'm excited to come to work, excited to be a part of the community, excited to open the doors and welcome folks in.
Do you have to change records? No, you missed it. I'm sorry.
Getting distracted over here, Kai.
Okay, why? Yes, like the jelly. Let's talk a little bit more about bikes. Do you have a lot of cyclists coming here to the Rich Bar in Quincy, California?
Yeah, we do. We actually, we've kind of worked with Yuba and worked with another local shuttle company in town and trying to offer discounts to get people to come in here and to get excited about town.
Really? You bring your bike and you get a free beer?
You go take a shuttle and you get a discount on your beer. Bring in a card from the shuttle and you get a discount. And
Wow.
we want to welcome people. And we want to make them understand that it's not just Mount Huff. It's this really great little community of people who really care about the space and care about the biking and care about the bike community.
Anything else that you'd like to add about either your bar or cyclists or any of that? Vinyl?
I mean, the only thing I can say is be wary of gravel bike enthusiasts. They can be dangerous folks.
Why?
I've met a couple of them that live up in this area, and they're some of the greatest human beings I've ever met in my entire life, but I cannot keep up with them to save my life.
They're really enthusiastic about pedaling.
Yes. I'm not as enthusiastic about pedaling.
One of the things that we do on Bike Life Radio is we talk about pedaling and like your experience doing that, pedaling a bicycle. Do you have a story that you'd like to share from when you rode a bike and this happened?
The only experience I can ever share is I tried to get my wife into mountain biking, and we lived in Santa Rosa at the time, and we were biking up Annandale all the time, and she kept having bike problems every single time we tried to climb up to get up to Spring Lake, whatever it may have been, to the point where we replaced her derailleur 4 times, and when we finally took it into a bike shop, they essentially told us the whole bike was totally screwed up because either the manufacturer was bad or she just kind of didn't know how to pedal. But anyway, my experience with pedaling uphill is that it sucks and that don't have bike problems.
Excellent. Good bike story. Thank you.
That's all I got.
You don't, not comfortable. We're talking to Alex, owner of Rich Bar in Quincy, California. That is, I like to say, it was a gas station and now it's a bike station. Did you think that biking would be an important part, as important part of your business as it is today when you first came in?
I was really hoping it would be. My grandfather was a flat track racer, so I grew up on motorcycles my whole life, got into mountain bikes, fell in love with it, and that was one of the reasons that we ended up where we ended up. So when we put this whole place together and we saw the location of all the through streets and whatever, the idea that this could be a pit stop for bikes was, kind of at the forefront of the hope.
Do you see interesting conversations between various sports enthusiasts here? Like, I'm a diehard disc golfer, or I'm a diehard cornholer, or a diehard cyclist, or diehard mountain motorcyclist. Do you see people having those kinds of cross-culture conversations?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anybody pointing fingers at anybody else saying they're a hardcore disc golfer or mountain biker or any of that. But I've definitely have folks come in
like claiming that I am a hardcore whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a little more laid back than that. But I've seen a lot of very positive conversations between folks about mountain biking and dirt biking, and we've been a great stop on the PCT for a lot of hikers this year as well. So we get all kinds of folks coming in day out, covered in dirt, sharing their stories over a beer here.
Yeah. It's really interesting. We were talking to Sam earlier about how recreation is this like a renewable resource. And I know that it can have its ups and downs. Any thoughts about that, like as a renewable resource, or relying a lot on recreation as a business? Yeah, like, is it challenging?
Yeah, I think it's in an area like where we live, where traffic you really have to pull for. It's a little more taxing. In a lot of other areas, especially being an hour and 30 minutes from Truckee, right? You get so much natural recreation tourism coming through there that it's extremely renewable. Out in a space like this, we kind of have to create awareness in a way that makes sense for our community based on the infrastructure that we have. But if we can create that awareness, then it's incredibly renewable and good for everyone here.
This is Bike Life Radio, KWNK 97.7 FM. I'm Kai Plaska, right on, and we're talking to Sam. Is that right, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct.
Sam.
Yeah.
And she's the manager at Rich Bar, where we are now. And you had something to say about recreation, that it matters some way or another.
It sure does. I mean, as we've learned in other small mining towns and mountain towns, and you can use Downeyville as like the brainchild of it. Our sustainable resource is recreation. It seems very localized in Northern California just because of how we're with our fires and reshaping like how we utilize our environment, but recreation is our sustainable resource right now. So it would be silly of us creating a new business not to include that demographic into this and invite that in. So whatever we can do to support that, we're gonna do it.
I don't even know what else there is. Like what would you cater to? Loggers only or something, right? And you can't be narrow.
Well, honestly, part of the vision of the early meetings that the owners had and that I was a part of was we knew that we were missing an inclusive space in Quincy. We used to have a space here back in the day that everyone's been missing. It was called Pangea, and everyone would go there and make their plan. Yeah, they would make their plans for the next day, and it was kind of where we all gathered, and we had been missing that for a long time. And so part of the excitement of having this idea from the owners to have this space here in Quincy, we all kind of glommed onto it. Like, we've been missing that for a long time. And so the whole point was to be consistent and then also provide a space for anyone and everybody and kind of say yes to everything and open. It's more like, I want it to feel like more community ran than like ran by certain people. It's like anyone's welcome here. We will provide the space for whether it's a meeting or a birthday party or an engagement or live music. Obviously, we have a stage back there and we have had some really good music acts out here lately. And it's something that the community's been needing. And it just makes sense that any and all recreation would be available here. We're gonna start a disc golf putting league here really soon, and I think obviously the mountain biking community is very imperative to this. As you can see, it's a little bit of a construction area, quote unquote, but we're hoping to do bocce ball courts over there eventually. We have a lot of plans. We opened in December of 2023 during the Sparkle. It's like Quincy's little community party prior to Christmas, and everyone comes out and there's a tree lighting. All the businesses participate, and there's never been a business open in this part of Quincy. It's always localized to downtown, so it's kind of nice to bring people down here too, to kind of further the scope of where people can hang out.
You know, it's an interesting twist. Like, you're talking about disc golf and cornhole and mountain bikes and what was the other one that I missed? Bocce ball. It's an interesting twist on a sports bar.
I guess so. But if
you have the modern sports bar.
But if you look behind, well, and that's just part of capturing what the community's into right now. We all need a family space that we all feel welcome and safe in. And I feel like we're kind of providing that for families as a whole. And we want to give people what they want, you know? And so, but also if you look behind you, you see this big TV, which we also make sure we have all the football games, the Olympics, baseball, like everything you can want. And then on Sunday the 25th, we'll be showing the world champion disc golf.
Excellent. And so you also ride a bike, Sam, at Rich Bar, right? You're listening to KWNK 97.7 FM Bike Life Radio. We're talking to Sam, who is the manager of Rich Bar. And so you ride a bike, right? Do you have a story that you'd like to share with us about your bike riding? You're already laughing. It must be great to just think about your bike.
I'm just trying to think, because it's not just one bike, it's a few.
Oh, many bikes. All at the same time?
I have them all. They're part of the whole thing. So, you know, my Santa Cruz 5010, I love so much. I've like vacillated in between that and some other types of bikes, Juliana and the High Tower and things like that, but I always gravitate towards the 5010. And then I also have a gravel bike, a Falconer, and thankfully we've been blessed with Cameron Falconer, who now lives in Quincy and builds those frames. And so there's a lot of locals who are gravitating towards gravel biking. And again, we have the Lost and Found gravel grinder here.
I'm going to try and ride to Taylorsville from here on a gravel bike tomorrow.
You should.
Yeah. Is that a good ride?
It is. Like, we have more.
Do I go up Mount Huff and then just go down the hill?
You can do that down China Grade.
But then you're laughing and making me nervous.
Well, then you're just like, you know, pedal to the metal, just going for it. But, you know, if you pop into UB Expeditions, they'll give you all of the ins and outs of all the trails that you can take. Mount Huff, it's exponential. There's just so much around here. So the variety, and then road biking too, I love that. I'm kind of just a little bit of everything. So, and we have it all here. So.
That was Sam Rick, manager of Rich Bar in Quincy, California, which is on the Connected Communities Trail Route. It connects Reno to a dozen other communities in the Sierra with hundreds of miles of dirt trails. The trail system is being developed by the Sierra Buttes Trail Stewardship. You can learn more in Taylorsville, California on September 14th. And there is a Mountains to Meadows ride and trail building session, September 19th to the 21st. Go to sierratrails.org for details. Again, that's sierratrails.org for details. Earlier in the show, we spoke to Alex Westerberg, the owner of Rich Bar in Quincy, California. It's on that Connected Communities route in Quincy. It'll be exciting to see what other new businesses develop along this Connected Communities route. That's it for Bike Life Radio. We ride our bikes out into the world with a recorder, and we talk to people about their bikes and their lives. Now at a new time at 5:30 every Sunday. I'm Kai Plascon. Right on.